What's going on, everybody? I am back, and today I'm going to be reviewing the Switch version of Assassin's Creed 3 Remastered. And I've been wanting to review this one for a while, and there's a few reasons to it. First of all, if you've read about it in the gaming press, you'll notice it took a little bit of a kicking when it got released, which it was a little bit rough around the edges when it was first released. However, it has since received two very large patches that have really ironed out a lot of the issues it was faced with, and is a very different product. So the reviews online that you read are no longer accurate. And I noticed that nobody re-reviewed Assassin's Creed 3 for the Switch after the patches were released, so it aggravates me a little bit that there's no accurate reviews out there on the patch product. So, as usual, when something falls through, I try to catch it and put it up on my channel, and that's what I am doing today. So if you happen to have Googled Assassin's Creed 3 for the Switch and were turned off by it, by the reviews, this is for you. You are my target audience. I am going to try as best as I can to show you the improvements and the quality of the product, in the hopes that you will see that it is worthy of your purchasing dollars, because in my opinion it absolutely is. It is a fantastic port of a fantastic game, and it is unfortunate that it got released in a little bit of rough condition, which I do understand. It was the first Assassin's Creed game for the Switch, so of course you're going to have your growing pains when you are the first one out of the gate. We go ahead and get it fired up here, and the way I do it, with very little exception, I'm going to be showing just raw gameplay footage. So let's get going. Now, just for a little bit of context, just so you know where I am coming from, when I grade remasters like this, there's two key categories that I look at. The first one is it just as good as the original? And by that, I mean if I encounter a glitch, and let's say the glitch was present in the 360 version, I don't dock points for that. I look at, is it at least as good? Does it hold up as good or better than the original release? Okay, I look at that particular category. If I see a glitch that, say, is brand new and was not in the 360 or the original release, I do dock points for that. The other category I look at is did they do everything they possibly could have done with the remaster? Was there anything else that they could have done to improve the quality of the port? So those are the two categories I look at, and if you just want to hear my score right off the bat without getting any kind of analysis, I'm just going to go ahead and tell you I rated it 9 out of 10. And for frame of reference, I gave the Black Flag Switch port a 10 out of 10. I docked half a point from each category. The first category is as good as the original, or does it surpass the original? I ended up docking half a point because there is a major glitch, a major issue that does not appear in the original 360 version, or excuse me, it was corrected within 2 weeks of the 360's original release, but for some odd reason it exists in this game, and it's fairly inconvenient. It's not game breaking, but it is an extreme nuisance. So I did take away half a point for that. And the other kind of perplexing thing, and I'll show you a few examples as we go through it, there were a lot of quality of life improvements made to the PS4 version. And when I say PS4, I'm being all-encompassing. The PS4, Xbox One, PC version, that made it into those versions, but did not make it into this one. And it had nothing to do with horsepower. It had nothing to do with hardware capabilities. They were just very simple quality of life improvements that just did not make it in. And it was very perplexing as to why that did not happen. I wish I could explain why. But for whatever reason, they did not. So I'm going to go over a few of those. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and dive into this. Okay, now the first example I'm going to show you of a quality of life improvement that made it into the PS4 version but is oddly noticeably absent here is a bundle menu that allows you to switch back to the main hub we were just at. It doesn't have that option here. Now I'm going to pull up a single screen grab from the PS4 version. Now we're looking at the PS4, and if you see there at the bottom, it has an exit to bundle menu where you can switch over to Liberation or view the extras or whatever you want to do. For some reason, one way or another, that was not included here. I don't know why. I don't know if there's any complexities to do that. I can't imagine there would be, but it's just, you know, just a very, very small thing that I noticed, and I'm not really sure why the stuff like that didn't get implemented. And there's several examples like that throughout. But I definitely don't want to, you know, give this game a kicking either, because it's a fantastic port. I mean, it's absolutely stunning. Now I know I've gone over a couple of things I think that needs improvement, but let me go ahead and just go over things that I think it did well. Let me get up here for a better vantage point. Okay. Now what it does is it uses the same assets as the 360 and the PS3 version, but what you're getting here, you're getting a much richer, much cleaner image than you are on the 360. A 360, you're getting 720. This is a full-blown 1080. Lighting's better, shadowing's better. There's no crazy artifacting. You have much better draw distance, much better detail. It's much more alive. You got a lot more wildlife flowing around. Just everything's much better, much richer, much sharper, much more alive. It's not washed out, of course. It doesn't have the enhancements of the PS4, obviously. The Switch does not have the hardware capabilities of those systems. But what you're getting here is much more polished and much cleaner than the 360, the PS3, or the Wii U, and actually even the PC version, which was not all that well optimized when it was first released. Everything holds together very well. It's much cleaner. The 360 version in this particular area looked like it was being held up by glue and duct tape. I mean, it looked like a 360 was just ready to fall apart. And thankfully it doesn't, but you can tell the 360 really struggles to hold everything together. And this does not. It's extremely beautiful image. And the best example I can give you, look back at the ships, how they hold together very well. They're not artifacting, they're not chipping in and out. It's a steady image, and you can see some of the details on the ships. You could not do that in the 360. It would just be washed out. So, another thing too, I'll show you the frame rate. For the most part, it holds well at 30. It does dip from time to time, but no matter what measure you use, it smokes the 360, the PS3, the Wii U. It absolutely smokes them all. Performance-wise, see, it's holding very steady despite what I'm doing to it. Picture quality, it holds at 1080p. It does not diminish. Even if you do get frame rate drops, like there's some parts, you know, where it'll drop to 26. Sometimes if it gets really intense, I've seen a couple where it drops to 23, 24. If I compare that to the 360, the same kind of scenarios, same situations, yeah, I would get frame drops between 15 and 20. So no matter what benchmark you use, it absolutely is better than the original in graphics, performance, just about every measure you could take. It absolutely smokes the originals. So I give it very, very high marks. And again, I did encounter some glitches, but every glitch I encountered, I found in the 360 version. Hang on, for example, this right here, you see session end. That should contain some text. There should be some dialogue there. But ironically, this exact same glitch happened to me when I played through the 360 version on my initial run through back in the day. So, you know, I'm actually cool with this. I'm not docking anything for that, because that's in the original. So I'm cool with it. Anyway, I'm going to take a few seconds here, kind of let you just look around Boston. See if I get to a higher vantage point, because I do want you all to get an idea. Oh, yeah, hang on. He's not happy with me. Let me go hide somewhere. Alright. See if I can use this guy's ledge. And there's also just a ton of quality and life improvements, more than I can really talk about in one single session. I'm going to try to keep this as limited as I can. But there's so many tiny quality life improvements. Like you look at the mini map, it now shows, you know, which direction your enemies are facing, whether you're dealing with a single troop or a battalion, whether they're armed with a rifle. Basically, it takes black flags, mini maps, capabilities, and puts them into the game. Got a lot more stealth improvements. You know, you can whistle now from Haystack, which really ups the ante tremendously as far as stealth gameplay. You can double assassinate in low profile. You could not do that on the original. That, for whatever reason, was not implemented. You couldn't double assassinate without making your presence known, and that has been all corrected. That and so many other things have been fixed. Another thing I do want to show real quick, let me pull up the map. Map is another massive quality of life improvement. I mean, the 360, of course, was notorious for how clunky it was, but this has been corrected. Basically, it's hard to kind of explain, but they reversed everything. They flipped over the icons to the other side, and it just flows much more naturally. You can see the way it operates down there at the bottom right. Again, everything looks pretty clean, looks great. One more kind of weird thing. Let me pull up my image here. Okay. You're looking at a screen grab from the PS4 version, and you'll notice that a lot of icons have color markings, which helps distinguish certain missions. Like, you know, the harbor down there on the right is covered with a blue border, the shop's covered with a yellow border, and so on and so forth. And oddly enough, that does not find its way here into the Switch version. If we go back, you know, you'll see the whatever that is. I believe it's a fight mission. Let me see. Yeah, Boston Brawlers. That's been recolored, but all the other ones still have the original colors, which doesn't make too much sense. I mean, obviously, there's no hardware need that I would be aware of that would limit the Switch from having those color borders. So again, you just encounter a lot of stuff like that. You know, the small quality of life improvements that made it into the PS4 that, for whatever reason, didn't show up here, and I can't really explain it. Not really sure what happened there. But anyway, so we're going to go back. And now I'm going to show you the mission that made me dock a whole half point. Let's see here. There we go, DNA. That made me dock a whole half point. And I hate to nitpick, but it is such a irritatingly placed thing. It just stands out in the game. It's just really hard to ignore. And the fact that it was removed and fixed in the 360 version, and then it's here, it's basically the Charles Lee chase scene. It's still broken. It does not contain the patch version like the 360 did, and it's very rough, like it was when it was originally released, and it's not fixed. So I'm going to show it to you, let you get a feel for it, and you can see if you can judge for yourself. I'm going to shut up and let you watch this cutscene.
Need something, darling?
No.
Rude.
Can I help you? You know you can. Pardon? Oh! I do not like having my time wasted. Stop that! Oh, don't make me call the guards! Make a sound and you die. What do you want? He's in the harbor, at the Long Pier, most likely. We heard what happened at the parade. Charles got all nervous, said he was leaving the country. I thought he was overreacting. Guess not. No! Thank you.
Alright, now I shut up there for a number of reasons. First being, I want you to notice the way the Switch handles the cutscene. It played it incredibly well. But I also want to point out, again, another oddity, and I I'm not going to count this towards the Switch, but again, I think it's worth pointing out. Screen grab from the PS4 version for that same scene. You'll notice Connor's clothing is colored the same in this version, but the cutscene wouldn't display it, and that was due to a massive glitch in the 360 version that they fixed in the PS4, but for whatever reason that glitch still exists in the Switch. But again, I do not dock points because, again, if you were to play the 360 version, that glitch is still in there. So, you know, we're completely cool with that. But just a couple of shots on the PS4 for comparison's sake. You see, he's still got the blue colors in his uniform during the cutscene, which you can't do on the 360 version. For whatever reason, that glitch also carries over here to the Switch. But we're cool with it. And definitely another thing to point out, shouts out to Connor's voice actor, Noah Watts, in that particular scene. I think that the nuances in Connor's face, I think, are a great argument for why the voice actors need to also do the motion capture. There's just a lot of nuances in Noah's performance there that I don't think would have carried over if they'd found, say, you know, a random actor to come in and do the motion capture work. Which is fine, no offense, you know, to those actors that come in and do that kind of work. Nothing wrong with that, but I just think that, especially if you look at that cutscene, Connor, just in his face, Noah knew how to bring out Connor because he knows him better than anybody. There's no other actor out there that is going to know the character like the voice actor does. Alright, so now we're going to try to find Charles Lee, and you can see for yourself, judge for yourself, and see if it merits the harsh deduction that I gave it. Alright, now Lee's here somewhere. Hiding somewhere in all this fog. Where are you at? Oh, other way, Connor. Nope. It's like all the assassins are got some kind of glue attached to them. They go for a place. There we go. Now I think I'm going the right way. Alright, so he should be, I think, right around here. There he is. Yep, I got the bastard. What's up, Charles? Ooh, now we got a whole... Alright. It glitched up there for a little bit. Alright, you can see he's already... I'm about to desync just from the distance. We got all kinds of stuff going on there. You get a bad frame rate drop up. Here we go. There's going to be a desync. No, okay, hang on. I might still make it. Maybe, possibly. Yeah, here that you have a very intense scene. You have a lot of stuff working against you. You've got frame drops that are bad, not as bad as the original 360 release. Okay, we made it. I'm actually kind of surprised. I was not expecting that. Usually it desyncs, but you can kind of get a feel for how rough that was. And just immediately starting off, of course, it almost desyncs. Somehow I made it. I'm not really sure how I pulled that off. But again, a lot of stuff working against you there, and it's a very irritating scene, especially if you haven't played the game in a while. It does take a few tries to get through that, although I actually did okay. I was not expecting that. Alright. Now we're back in the present. So again, it's... Again, I'm nitpicking, and I'm having to be very, very precise. You know, dock a whole game for one particular scene. But, you know, all in all, it's still a fantastic port. I mean, I'm still giving it a straight up 9 out of 10. And basically what I'm telling you is that those two categories you talked about, is it better than the original? And did they do all they possibly could have done with the port? And I say they nail all that with 90% accuracy. And that is, with me, just being an incredibly nitpicking and being very particular about the title. I believe this is the second best version you can get of this game. The definitive version, of course, is the PlayStation 4 version, but obviously we're not expecting the Switch hardware to outdo the PlayStation 4, especially not the 4K versions. That would be just beyond absurd. So I do grade this with the Switch's hardware in mind, and I think they did, for the most part, an incredibly fantastic job, barring a couple things and some strange quality of life improvements that did not make its way into the game, even though the Switch was perfectly capable of it. So I'm not really sure what happened there. Just so many tiny little things from the PS4 that did not make its way into the Switch. That's really about it. Whoops. Just gonna walk that one off. They didn't notice anything. Oh, maybe they did. Yep. Never mind. There we go. Alright, now I'm gonna run. I'm sure they won't notice. Chill with these guys. Anyway, that pretty much covers it. Unless anybody's got any questions, go ahead and sound off in the comments section, and I will try to answer them as best I can. Otherwise, I'm going to leave the camera on for a little bit and just do a little bit more running around. If for some reason you are not satisfied and you want to see more footage, it's right here. If you want the game, and I highly encourage you to get it, you probably can't find it in physical form anymore. But it's obviously available on the eShop, and whatever it is, I promise you the cost is absolutely worth it. So, dive in. Is a fantastic way to relive Connor's adventure, and it looks great in handheld mode as well. We're playing in docked, but of course it's great on the go too. So, any questions, sound off. Otherwise, if you want to see some more footage, hang out. But that concludes my review portion. So, let me know if you have any feedback.
Is this some sort of... Are you alright?
Bloody hell, Bat.
All of your life!
Citizen.
Aren't you?
Alright guys, I think that's pretty much going to wrap it up. Hopefully you got a pretty good idea of how well this game runs on the Switch and what a fantastic way it is to revisit Connor's journey. So, that's going to be it. Again, thanks for tuning in. I appreciate you guys, and I will see y'all next time.